You are listening to the Cattle Call Podcast. This is the place where computer-aided design and drafting meets humor and practicality, with a touch of business acumen thrown in for fun. Jim and Rocco, the owners of Zentech Consultants, the premier U.S. technology consulting firm for architecture, engineering, construction, and manufacturing, discuss the fascinating world of CAD with some humor and some honesty. The Cattle Call Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Cattle Call Podcast with Jim and Rocco from Zentech Consultants. I am Jim, your resident technology geek, and with me is
Rocco, the charming, intelligent, bright. What else can I say about myself?
Delusional, drinking too much in the morning, gotta lay off the grains. I mean, whatever it calls. Obviously, you're doing a little too much of the happy weed over there, dude. Dial it back. Or at least share. I mean, you know, I don't mind you coming stoned onto the show, but you ain't even invite me to join. That's not cool, bro. I would love to see you stoned. Honest to God, I really would. I would pay a lot of money for that. So
I'm sure you would.
Yes. So, all right, what are we talking about today? Oh, I know what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about the idea of standards, right? I want to talk about that again today, right? In particular, we've talked about standards a lot, right? But in particular, I want to talk about three items today. I want to talk about styles, tools, and templates, right? Or what I call the STT of the standards world. So, you know, those are all part of your CAD standards, right? Which you would expect us to talk about here on the Cattle Call Podcast. But, you know, each one of those, the styles, the tools, and the templates, they're also individual items that need to be addressed. You know, and a lot of times, you know, I talk to potential clients and they're looking for us to help them set up, you know, their CAD standards or their estimating standards or anything along those lines, right? The things we're talking about here today aren't just about CAD standards. The problem that I run into is that when I discuss the details of this, right? I want to talk to people about their styles, their tools, their templates. They don't know where to start. They just kind of give me this glazed over look like, what? It's standards. Just do my standards. Right? There kind of seems to be this prevailing idea out there that standards are just like an umbrella statement, right? And that you can engage with a consultant, you know, like Zentech, and we can just wave our magical tech wands, right, and set up your system so all your projects come out exactly the way you want with the click of a button. Look, you know, I'm good at setting up quality standards, but I'm not quite that good. We do need to have a good bit of in-depth conversation about that STT, right, the styles, tools, and templates, before we can even consider beginning to help you guys out on this end. So, Rocco, I already know the answer to this question, but to put it into perspective for our listeners, how many folks that you talk with in the design construction world need help with standards of some kind?
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and it's one of those things where I think a lot of people recognize it, they know it, you know, but they kind of kick the can, and I think it hurts people in a lot of different ways. You know, it's like it's like having a messy basement, you know, and knowing that you need to get to it someday, but you know, not making the time for it. But yet, don't bring any company down there because you can't show them how messy it is. You know.
Have you been creeping around in my basement? What are you doing? That's absolutely okay. That's a great analogy. That's exactly how it is, right? Just hide it and don't let anybody know that we're really just putting it all together with, you know, Scotch tape and chewing gum. You know, yeah, that's a real good analogy. So let's kind of get into the conversation here today with the idea of styles, and this is a broad concept, and it spans any number of software systems. We're not just talking about, you know, CAD related styles here. Almost every AEC related software out there has built-in style options that are going to control your final output and your final display. And it doesn't matter, right? If you're talking about, you know, your Excel pricing tables or your Civil 3D contour display options. Styles are vital to how we work. You know, they help your staff understand what they're looking at, right? Even on a project that maybe they haven't seen before, something somebody else did. And also, you know, a consistent style, I think, can help to brand your deliverables in a way that helps your clients identify your company and your work with a single glance, right? And don't discount the value of that. I know it's funny. A lot of people, wow, that's not important. We don't care about that. It really makes a difference, right? When people are making decisions between firms that have that are providing similar capabilities and similar costs, right? It's the difference maker. So think of it like this: Google, right, has a very distinct style for all of their products, right? We're all familiar with their bright colors, and they use those nice, happy, lighthearted fonts and their logos and their interface, right? You know at a glance when you're using a Google product, even if you've never touched that specific product before, right? Google spends literally millions of dollars on those styles, and they're not doing it because they think it looks cool. They do it because their competitors, like Microsoft and Amazon, can match them in pricing and capability. But the consistency across their platform inspires trust in the belief that everything that looks the same is going to work the same, right? And there won't be any major discrepancies. You're comfortable with Google, you'll continue to use it no matter what the product is. And I think that same concept holds true for smaller folks like us, right? A general contractor or an architectural firm. When your deliverables always look the same, you're seen as professional and reliable, and the client figures, right, since he's getting the same format, it all looks the same on every job you do for him, he's getting the same exact quality and the same product on every single job as well. I think it's a really important thing that a lot of people overlook. So, Rocco, in terms of styles, do you find that a lot of our clients either don't consider this before reaching out to us, or, like I was saying, do you find that they just don't think of it as a particularly important concept?
It's mixed. It really is. I mean, it's certainly, I think it gets down again to organization and just the visual appearance is huge, right? I mean, it's a very big thing. But it all depends. We have sole proprietors, right, that just stay busy and they're happy with what they've got and they don't care so much about styles. And then you've got firms that are more outward facing and it is critical. So I think it all depends on the situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to, but like I said, I will say that I do think it's important for everybody. I think even from the smallest company to the largest, it's something that folks should really consider, right? And like I said, style is really, it's a very broad area of discussion. And it's one that I always touch base on, with our consulting projects, right? The fonts that you use and the color options in your logos and your headers and the line weights in your CAD files or the layout and look of your reports. All of those things matter a lot.
Yeah, because it comes down to presentation and organization.
Yeah, it absolutely does, right? And like you were saying, right, the common answer we get is, oh, everything's, it's fine as it is. It's fine. We're doing fine. And I think that's a terrible answer. Unless you've already done the deep dive into your styles and worked with somebody and it's really, really, meticulous and you're comfortable with it, then that is the correct answer, right? But if you've just never really looked at it, right, and if you're just saying that because you think that the consultant you're working with is trying to kind of pump up their scope of work, believe me, they're not. All right, consultants know how important style options are to closing new business, right? And they're actually trying to look out for you as best they can. So keep styles in mind, folks. It's not something you want to skimp on. The next thing that I kind of wanted to touch base on here is the idea of tools. And tools, to my mind, are the single best investment that you can make for whatever software you're working in, right? I don't care if it's in Bluebeam or BricsCAD or Civil 3D or any other system out there. Developing custom tools that speed up the workflow of your staff, right, can save you an incredible amount of money on every single job. Now, look, I know the people listening, right, when you heard me say the word custom, right? You immediately start thinking of, programmers sitting in dark rooms doing their freaky coding voodoo, right? But that's not what I'm talking about here. Right? Custom programming is an entirely different beast than custom tools. Right? And look, the first should be avoided whenever possible. I'm not a big fan of the custom programming. It's expensive and it requires a lot of ongoing support. But the second one, right, the custom tools, should always be like that first stop on your standardization train. Most modern software systems have configurable tools built into them so that you can adapt what the software gives you out of the box to your company's specific needs. Bluebeam Review is a great example of this, right? It gives you, a small handful of symbols and estimating tools when it installs, but the program itself, right? Nobody coded to, or you don't have to hire a programmer or anything to do this. The program itself has the capacity for you to just build a staggering array of features, right, that are specific to your needs, and they work right inside that program with no coding required at all. For most systems in the AEC space, that is the case, right? Certainly all CAD systems have this capability with blocks and tool palettes and so on. And setting up tools that automate daily work processes, those are nothing but pure profit engines. Those tools make you money. Right? Think of it like this, right? If one tool can save 20 minutes a day off of your staff work, their workload, just do the math on it, right? Do 20 minutes times however many employees you have times whatever your average cost per hour is, and you can literally save tens of thousands of dollars every year with one tool, right? Now you start adding in dozens of smart tools, right, or even hundreds, and you consider the profits that you're just letting leak out the door, because you don't have the tools that your people need set up, built, and in place, right? So it's a really important topic. So Rocco, how many of our clients kind of come to us looking for customized tools within their AEC software, whichever software it is? Is that a kind of a common standard starting point, or do you find that we have to kind of bring up the idea of these custom tools to them?
No, I mean, a lot of folks come to us, with the interest, because they see they understand the value of it. I mean, we honestly, I don't think we do enough marketing, outbound marketing on this kind of stuff, but we get a lot of folks that come to us, and it's about automation, right? It's about getting the job done quicker, better, faster. So that's what they're after.
Yeah, and that the best way for that is tools, right? Configuring intelligent tools to save people time and money, right? That's a large part of what I do on a daily basis here, and it's the only reason Rocco keeps me around. It's not like he likes me. Look, and I'm always actually surprised by how well received even the simplest tools are, particularly by your end users. I can't even tell you how often I hear people, say, "Oh my God, that tool is going to save me so much time. I could have done my last job in half the time if we'd only had this one tool." Right? And that's the return on investment right there, right? You're cutting job completion times for every project that you ever do moving forward, forever, right? And well-planned tools will give you consistent, repeatable output. Right? And actually, usually with that one button magic click, right, that we're all looking for. And it's also simple to set those tools and integrate them to display in your company style, right? Going back to where we started, right? So, it hits what we're talking about at the top of the show, right? You can blend your tools to reflect your style, right? So with that, let's take a quick break here to catch a word from our sponsor, just so that Rocco and I can actually pay our mortgages this month. So we'll be back in just a few minutes, folks, with more of the Cattle Call Podcast. All right, Rocco, so we are sponsoring ourselves yet again today. What is it we want to talk about?
We're going to talk about me today, Jim.
No one wants to talk about you. Not even you.
Oh, fine. Let's talk about Zentek Tech Blocks.
Awesome. I like Zentek Tech Blocks. Zentek Tech Blocks are prepaid support hours that lets you call on Zentek's experienced technical staff to address all your support questions, problems, help you with workflows and standards, really anything you need on the technology side. We're here to provide the support you need so that your most talented people aren't being dragged into helping everybody else in your company instead of working on the billable jobs that you need them focused on. All right. So Zentek Tech Blocks are available in multiple sizes. We sell them in 5-hour, 10-hour, 20-hour, and 40-hour prepaid support blocks. And if you're interested and you need that sort of help, Rocco, how do they reach out to us?
Yeah, hit up our website, zentekconsultants.net. Give us a ring, 866-824-4459, or even drop us an email, sales@zentekconsultants.net.
All right, Zentek Tech Blocks, the vital support that your people need exactly at the moment that they need it. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cattle Call Podcast, where we're talking about STT, styles, tools, and templates today. And when we left off, we were talking about tools, right, and how they can be a major benefit no matter the software system that you guys might be working in. And I wanted to come back to that for a minute because I have actually another question here for my partner on that topic. So, Rocco, configuring tools, right, it's definitely a moneymaker. But do clients kind of get the wide eyes, right, when we throw costs for our tool development at them, and what factors kind of tip them in our favor on jobs like that?
Yeah, I mean it depends on the customer, right? But I think most folks see that look, nothing is cheap, right? I mean, but if you take the time to invest it up front, it's going to help you down the road. And I think that we actually do it pretty good here at Zentek. I mean, if we issue you a statement of work, we break it down so that we're not coming at you, for example, with a, here's a statement of work for $25,000. I mean, we try to break it out for you so that we understand that everybody's on a limited budget and that you can only do so much within a period of time. Between limited budgets and limited time. So we do try to break it out and build a long-term relationship with our customers. So, for example, we might take that $25,000, statement of work and help to break it down for you. So if you want to start with a quarter of that job, we can start there. We don't have to chew at the whole pile at once.
Yeah, breaking it down on a line item by line item basis, I think does definitely help in terms of the pricing. And I will give some credit here to Rocco and say that, generally speaking, he does a good job of kind of, before I get, pulled in to actually begin a project like that, he's kind of vetted people and let them know, look, here's what you're looking at in terms of, generic pricing and where we might be on a job of that scope. So usually it's by the time I get to talk to people, they're usually okay. They have an idea of what we're talking about and they're willing to make that investment. But I think that's something that everybody has to consider up front, right? You can't expect to go to somebody and say, hey, I want 50,000 tools built to my custom specification and I'm going to give you $30. That's not going to happen. So not that it's crazy expensive, but it's an investment. So you need to keep that in mind. So the last component of our STT discussion today is the T for templates. And templates are important because they blend both of our previous topics, right? The styles and the tools into one easy to access and use start point. Templates are a standard process in almost all software systems. The idea behind templates is that you can build a prototype file with all of your tools, all of your styles, all of your settings and options already configured in that prototype, in the template. And I think that gives you two really distinct benefits. First, whenever your staff is starting a new file, they're beginning with everything that you want them to use already in place and configured, right? And that saves just an absolute ton of setup time. And I think secondly, whenever they're working on somebody else's file, right, from another consultant or an architect or an engineer, whoever it may be, they have a reliable source that they can go to, your template, right, to import the correct standards and so on, and still get the output that you want pretty easily. It makes it a lot simpler for them to just import those styles rather than kind of remember what all the settings are for 100 different options. So, templates in general are source files that are used to create editable files from. Okay, for example, in a CAD system, right, you select a starting template whenever you want to begin a new drawing, and the software makes a copy of the template and it renames it and says, okay, here's your new file, right? So that, just about any system that you guys might be working in has that template capability, right? That you can build and customize that template to your own needs, right? Excel does it, Word does it, Bluebeam does it, all CAD systems, no exceptions. I mean, even your email systems like, Outlook and Google Mail, Gmail, they can use predefined templates to automate those daily processes and get consistent output from your staff. Rocco, we do a lot of work here creating templates. Where do most of the people we work with, where do they fall in that range, right? Are they CAD users, Bluebeam, Office users, or some kind of mixed combination of all of those?
Yeah, it's really all the above. It's people look for why do the same thing over and over again, right? I mean, again, if you can bring standardization and productivity gains, why it's just a logical answer.
Yeah,
to me.
Yeah, it is, and like I said, it really does come down to it's a single click. You say, hey, I need to use the template that has all of this basic information. I'm doing estimating work. I'm going to start with the estimating template that has all the estimating tools and styles and standards I need. 99% of my work is already configured. It is a no-brainer. I'm a huge fan of templates, right? They are, without a question, they're the key to automating your workflows. And I stress to my clients all the time, right, that a good template can eliminate 90% of your standards headaches, right? Not just because you're adding the things you want to the template, but maybe even more importantly, you're actually eliminating things from the template that you don't want. And that's really important. So look at it like this, right? People are, to my mind, right, people are consistent in one thing, and that is that they're always inconsistent. That's the only thing we're consistent about. When two human beings are faced with identical choices, right, you can rest assured they are each going to choose different options. That's what we do, right? The only way that you can kind of counter that issue is by limiting the number of choices that people have, or better yet, totally eliminating choices. Right? When your people are faced with only a single option, that's the one they're going to use. Nobody out there is going to spend time developing a new process or a new tool when there's one that will work right in front of them. Okay? Even if they don't like it, they don't like your style, they don't like that tool, they think it's completely wrong and it looks terrible and I hate that, they're still going to opt for using that one over adding hours of work to whatever it is they're doing. Right? At the end of the day, humans are inherently lazy creatures. Lord knows I certainly am. Ask Rocco, he'll tell you all about how lazy I am.
People, 2 naps a day. I mean, come on.
It's actually 3, but I tell them it's only 2.
You see what I mean, guys?
I get my siesta. Shush. It keeps me young and handsome.
There's an S at the end. Siestas is 1.
Okay, siestas. Multiple siestas. Muy grande siestas, sí. So, look. As people, right, we all want to get to wherever it is we're going by using the shortest, simplest path, right? And a template gives you exactly the tools and the features that the company wants you to use. No more, no less. And it's the best way to give people that shortest, simplest path is with your template. So, Rocco, we actually do, in between my siestas, We do templates in 2 ways here at Zentech, right? We build them from scratch for each client, but we also sell kind of predefined templates, right, for specific software like CAD systems and so on, right? That kind of hold, our idea of what best practices for that industry are built into them. Which way seems to be more appealing to most of our clients, and why do you think that is?
It's what, what we can individually build for their specific situation is more attractive, because every customer has a unique environment. Every customer is different on what they want and what they need. So yeah, it's I think that's probably what we see more. I mean, but if you want, what's already pre-built, we can do, we can do it. I mean, look at our website, for example, on what we do for Civil 3D. There's a whole prefix set of templates that are available there for purchase.
Yeah. And I agree with your assessment, right? We do much more, and I think it works a lot better when we're doing custom built stuff for people. Look, the predefined ones, it's like I said, it's what we think of as best practices, and I find that the folks who use that are really they've got someone in house who they think can handle all their standard setups. They kind of want to do it on their own, and they just kind of need a kickstart, right? They need something to kind of get them going in the right direction, which is why we actually call our templates kickstarts. It's a starting point for them to see the things they should be addressing. Then they can take our standards and kind of tweak them to their needs. So it just I have found that it just depends on whether or not they have someone in house who they trust to, or has the time to build those standards. So there you go. STT, folks, styles, tools, and templates, right? That's what it all comes down to. You need all three of those properly developed, right? And if you do, you can get your work done in half the time for half the cost, and win more jobs in the process, right? And look, do I think you should call Rocco and I to get that done? Of course. Rocco leads this crazy, extravagant, rich lifestyle, and he needs more cash to make him happy. But you can do this on your own, right? There is nothing involved with this that demands a consultant like Zentech, right? We're a matter of convenience, right? Technology consultants get work like this done faster than you can, right? And you don't lose billable hours, and folks can actually continue working on your actual projects, right? But this STT concept, it just requires a bit of planning, some time, and a little bit of effort on your part, and you can get all of these benefits, right? That you've only dreamed about with even small standards upgrades, right? And you can do it on your own. You don't need to hire us, but I really would hope you do, because Rocco needs his second yacht, so got to pay for that somehow. And apparently I'm busy napping all day, so I'm not going to bring in the money.
Yeah, and I'm daydreaming about my first yacht.
Yeah, the day you get one, remember to invite me out on it, would you? I've never even seen one, much less been on one, but I'd like to someday. I love the concept. All right, folks, with that, we're going to wrap it up here, and we'll leave you all to go ahead and start working on your own standards. All right, folks, enjoy your day. We'll catch you next time on the Cattle Call Podcast. All right, everybody, today's Cattle Call was brought to you courtesy of Zentech Consultants. That's Rocco and I. Zentech Consultants works with design and manufacturing firms to help our clients purchase and implement the software that they need in these complex industries. We provide a single point of contact for clients to buy, develop, and learn the most vital software systems for your specific needs. Zentech strives to be your trusted technology partner from your initial needs all the way through long-term support and training for your entire staff. So Rocco, why don't you tell them how to reach out to Zentech?
All right, yeah, you can reach out to us through zentechconsultants.net. You can email us at sales@zentechconsultants.net, or you can even call us 866-824-4459.
Excellent. We look forward to hearing from you all.